What is going on, guys? Welcome to today's video. So today we are going to disassemble the go-kart and get it ready for paint, and then we'll take it for a rip. For those of you who are not familiar with the go-kart, this is what it looked like before. Then I put a Honda CB250 engine into it. The last video we just finished it minus the paint and everything's working. So now we're going to go ahead, disassemble it, paint it, and then we'll take it for a rip. Alright guys, so we got the engine out, all the wiring. If you take a look, there's not much left on the go-kart. Take the brakes off, take the axle off. We got to take this whole suspension assembly apart, and on the table we got all of the parts. So we'll take the brakes off, take everything else off, and then we'll prep it for paint. Alright, so we just cleaned the face plates with the solvent, so now we're going to go ahead and sand it. We'll clean it again, and then we'll start putting the body filler on. This was my first time using body filler, and it ended up drying before I could actually get it on, so I'm going to have to go ahead and mix some more. Alright, so take a look. The go-kart is 100% disassembled. We got the whole front end off. The rear end over here, everything is taken off. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and fix some of the welds. We're gonna grind them down. We're gonna also put some more welds on the floor to make sure it doesn't vibrate at all. Alright guys, so the faceplate is drying right now, so what we're going to do, I just welded the floor, touched up a couple spots, and now I'm going to hit it with a grinder blade, because a lot of these welds I did when the go-kart was upright, so like that one right there, it's kind of dripping downward, so I'm going to grind that off. I also got to fill in a couple holes on here. Tonight we're going to paint the bottom of it with some undercoating, so then tomorrow we can move on to primer for the rest of the go-kart. Alright, so we're done with the body filler all along here. It's nice and smooth. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna run over all the bare steel with an 80 grit sandpaper, then a 150, and then we'll clean it, and then it'll be ready for primer. Alright guys, so we washed off the go-kart. It is clean, and I just finished setting up this plastic inside the garage here, so all the tools will be away from the paint. I finished putting the body filler in here so it is nice and smooth. And the face plate, I just gotta sand it off one more time. What we're gonna do now is we are going to put some tape around the floor because we're spraying the floor with truck bed coating. So I'm gonna tape off everything else. We'll paint that, and then we'll flip it over, and then we can put the undercoating on the bottom. Alright, so we just finished with the primer. Now we are going to go with the 2K High Build Primer Surfacer. So we're going to go ahead and mix it up and then put it into the paint sprayer. Alright, so I put the 2K primer into the spray gun and it dried too quick, and I didn't put enough thinner in it, and it clogged up. By the time I got it unclogged, most of the paint was garbage and I threw it out. But we got a little bit on there. Here's what the face plate looks like. So there's still some sanding I'm going to have to do because I don't really want to have that showing. So we'll sand that down. But while the rest of it is all drying, I'm going to go ahead and take the exhaust pipes off of the engine, and then we can go ahead and paint them with a high heat paint and then wrap them. So for the face plate here, you can see actually some of the body filler now and some of the glazing putty. That's because I wasn't satisfied with having these little wrinkles and these little warps in the side, which was from that. So what I ended up doing is using 150 grit, went over it again and got it completely smooth. And then I went over that with some 400 grit, and now it is super smooth. The corners look really nice. And then to hang the items, I got these two little straps here. So we'll be able to hang the stuff on that. So we're gonna go ahead, paint the stuff that we need to do black. After that, we'll get it out of the way, and then we'll move on to the blue for the go-kart. So what ended up happening is I ran out of paint, and this paint you can only wait 12 hours before you put clear coat on, and the business that I bought the paint from did not open for another day because I painted this on the weekend. So now here you can see that I am re-scuffing the paint, and then I bought some more. We're gonna go ahead, put another coat on, and then we'll move on to clear coat. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead, go back over it with the super clean. We'll use one rag to apply it, and then another one in the other hand to remove it right away. And we're going to go over the whole entire go-kart. Alright, so I scuffed everything up with some emery cloth, and I got everything hanging up. It's clean, so what we're going to go ahead and do is paint the rest of the go-kart first. And as you can see, it's way too thin there. The roof is looking pretty good. There's still, you can see some lines, so I got to paint over all that. So we're going to go ahead and paint the frame first. Once we finish that and that's drying, we can go ahead, paint all these little bits that are hanging, and then we'll go ahead and clear coat everything. You guys probably can't see this, but this color is so beautiful when the light hits it. I don't think the camera does it justice, but I just put the clear coat on and it's looking beautiful. Alright, so we have these two front fenders that came with the go-kart. This one had a big old crack in it right here, so we glued that, so we're going to go ahead and sand it down. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and wrap the exhaust with this heat wrap. So we're going to go ahead and get this wet with some water, and then we'll go ahead and start wrapping it. Alright guys, so I just actually ordered some new suspension for the go-karts because if you take a look at the old ones, this is what they look like, and they are all rusty. And honestly, I started to take them apart and realized it's pretty challenging, and these ones, I'm not sure if they even come in parts like standard ones do. So I ended up just buying some new ones, so check them out. So you can see, this is one of the front shocks, and take a look at that. So it is nice, shiny, and new, and it's gonna match the go-kart in the fact that it's new. And this is one of the rear shocks, so it also looks good, and it matches the front shocks as well. So we're gonna go ahead and put this onto the front. Alright guys, check this out. I just put the new shocks on, and look at that. That is nothing like the original suspension, so it's definitely worthwhile changing out your old suspension for new, because that is pretty awesome. Alright guys, so I couldn't find an air filter that had a 2-inch inlet, and that old box I had just wouldn't fit so nicely, and it would kind of just stick out. So I ended up buying this massive air filter, and I got this PVC pipe adapter, and it just perfectly fits on there and fits on the carburetor just like that. So we're going to go ahead, tighten it up, and then what I'm going to end up doing is getting a cover for it that will keep the water out but let the air through, and then it should be fine. guys, that completes the build on this go-kart. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe. You can also follow me on Instagram at KB_KingBuilds. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.